Hey guys, welcome back to Sun Crypto. In today's content, we're going to talk about BTC. We're going to talk about Bitcoin on a macro scale. We're going to take a look at the quarterly cycle. We're going to take a look at the monthly cycle, the 50-day cycle, and all that good stuff. And we're going to try to basically determine the directional move of the next few months, right? Are we going to be pushing to the upside with high volatility above like a 60K? Or are we going to be pulling back down to find support somewhere around like 30K, or even some bears are calling for lower than 30K and all that good stuff, right? So we're gonna dive into all that good stuff, right? So if you're new to our content, don't forget to hit the likes, don't forget to join the public Telegram group, link in the description. You can also join the Discord public group, right? Link in the description, right? So now let's dive into the good stuff, right? So if you take a look at BTC on a quarterly basis, right, something very amazing been happening over the last few years, right? So what it is basically whenever we get a bearish quarterly cycle, right, we at least tend to move sideways for another 2 to 3 quarters, right? At least, okay. I talked about it back in April. When we got the first dump, I was back in May actually, when we got the first dump down to like 30K and all that good stuff. What I was saying, like, it could take like a few quarters, right, to break this key range, right? So we discussed it. Take a look at it, what we had right here, right? After the quarterly bearish cycle right here back in 2011, July 2011, what happened was that we moved sideways for nearly a year, okay, for like 4 quarters, right? And it took like nearly a year and a half before we broke out above the all-time high. So if you take a look at it right here, also back in 2014, after the after the bull market peak, we basically moved sideways, right, for like 3 quarters, right, before we basically got the breakdown all the way down to the quarterly 21 EMA right here, where we bottom at, and basically continue the bull market. So another example is like, if we take a look at the quarterly cycle back in the first quarterly cycle back in 2018, you can see like we got a nasty bearish not engulfing, but nasty bearish candle right here. So we dumped all the way down to like a 5K, 6K area, where we moved sideways and basically dumped all the way down to the quarterly 21. Similarly, right here back in 2019, we got a similar structure, dump all the way down to the quarterly 2019. Could we get a similar structure? It is possible, okay? But the problem with that is like, if we basically backtest the previous bull market, right? We already talked about the the bearishness and all that good stuff, but let's take a look at the bull market sideways correction, right? So if we take a look at the previous bull market right here, okay, after the first quarterly bearish candle right here, before we get a quarterly close above that range, price action moved sideways for nearly over 1,000 days, okay, nearly over 3 years, nearly 3 years, right? We move sideways before we get a candle close above the previous all-time high right here, okay? So that was the October 2016, okay? So 1,000 days, okay? Remember that, right? So let's take a look at the 2018 bear market, right? The first candle closed right there, okay? Closed all the way down to like 6K. Take a look at it, right? It moved, right, over 1,000 days, 1,004 days, right, before we get a candle close above the previous all-time high right here. So, but the thing is, right, after we close right here above the above all-time high, right, based on closing basis, right, we basically pump for a 360 days, right? Take a look at it right here, right there. We pumped over, we pumped all the way up to 20K in 12 months, right? Right here we got a candle close above the all-time high. However, right, it is not yet, right, it is not yet a full 1 year, right, after we basically close above the previous all-time high. So could it mean, right, bulls most likely going to show up within the next like a few weeks, right, and get another basically push to the upside all the way up to some crazy prices, right? We're going to discuss those prices in another video and all that good stuff, right? So what we want to see in the short term is like a close above 60K. But however, guys, we can't wait for the candle to close above 60k, if we basically assuming the bull market going to only last for 365 days, or just, you know, let's say 12 months, right? So we can't wait for the you know, the entire candle to basically close. So what we need to do is like basically flip on the what, flip on the 50-day cycle. That's why the 50-day cycle is so important, right? So if we take a look at the 50-day cycle, and we discussed the 50-day cycle last year, right there, okay, right here, right? So what we said, right, back then, let's take a look at the quarterly cycle first, right? Remember, if we wanted to wait for the quarterly cycle to close last year, back in October through December, we're going to be buying, we would be buying right here all the way up, like let's say 28k, because we needed to wait, let's say we needed to wait for the quarterly cycle to close for us to be bullish, right? So we would be buying like at 28k. However, if we take a look at it on a 50-day cycle, what I was saying is like, if we get a candle close, okay, right here above the 10.5 resistance, right, we're going to be seeing some crazy prices, because everything above 10.5 just going to be air. All right, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, that's exactly what happened, right? So if we're going to apply the same setup, right, for 2021, what we want to see over the next like a few days, let's say by October 27th, right, just like October 27th 2020, we want to basically see a candle close right within the next 3 weeks right here, okay, close above right there, okay, close above 60k, let's say 60k, right, just to get a nice round number, right? So if we can close by October 27th above 60k, we're most likely going to what, continue the bull market right over the next like a few months after that. It could be over 365 days, we just don't know. But all we're saying is like, after closing above all-time high last bull market right here, we basically pumped for 365 days, and right now, you know, we need 90 days nearly, right, to close, to get our 365 days, right? So but we don't want to wait for 90 days, because the yearly cycle will be over. Okay, we will, you know, it will be probably end of the bull market. I'm just saying, right, just assuming, right? So let's just keep that in mind. Right now, let's take a look at the 3 weeks time frame. Remember, we just talked about like what, third week of October, just about like October 27th, right? And we don't want to wait also for the basically a monthly candle to close. So we're going to take a look at the 3 weeks time frame, right? So if you take a look at the 3 weeks time frame, candle going to close, you know, today, right, September 30th. So we're going to get a new candle on you know, on the 1st, okay, October 1st. So it is going to be very important, right? So we're going to get a new candle October 1st, right, on the 3 weeks basis. The new monthly cycle going to open right on the 1st, and the new, you know, the new quarterly cycle also going to open on the 1st, right? So it is going to be very important, right? Over the next like a 3 weeks, we want to see, right, you know, by October 21st, right, let's say we want to see a candle close above like a 65k. Okay, if we get a candle close above 65k, or even just about like right here, let's say 57, 58, that's going to be a good sign of a potential bull market, because we just talked about how the 50-day cycle closing on the 27th, right, need to close basically, you know, candle needs to close above like a 60k, right? So before the 27th, if we can close above 50, you know, 60k, that's going to be a very strong statement from the bulls, and we most likely going to see some high, you know, some high volatility after that, right? You know, going into the last few months of the year and all that good stuff, right? So we talk about the you know, potential bearishness if we do not close above you know, 60k and all that good stuff. Now let's take a look at BTC on the monthly basis, right? The monthly basis, it is not a very bullish, right? If you take a look at right here, even though we did push to the upside, right, nice pullback, right, we dump all the way down to like a 30k, and we said we're going to be pushing back up like to 50% to 0.618, and that's exactly what happened right here. So what we want to see on the monthly, even though most likely, okay, with 99% chance, right, monthly candle going to close bearish, because we got less than 24 hours to go to close the monthly candle, right? what we want to see over the next like a few let's say a few days, even if like price dump to the downside, the worst case scenario is like we got our monthly 21 EMA. Okay, we got our monthly 21 EMA just about like a $30,000. So monthly it is not looking great, right? The worst case scenario I can see on a monthly basis in October, if we do not close above like a 60k, is like a retest of 30k. Okay, and most likely bulls going to defend the 30k range, just like what happened back in 2018 right here. Okay, we dumped nearly down to the monthly 21 EMA, just about like a 7k, and pushed back up to like a 10k, and basically retested it, moved sideways, pushed back up, and dumped to the downside. That's actually 2019, right? In 2018 right here, okay, we dumped all the way down to the monthly 21, moved sideways, created a descending triangle, and basically dumped all the way down to the 50 EMA on the monthly, right? So something to keep in mind. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is like just to be open-minded for both direction. Okay, if price dump, let's say if price dumps to the downside all the way down to the monthly 21 EMA, most likely, okay, bulls going to be defending the 30k support. I don't think, okay, we're going to be breaking out below 30k in October. Okay, however, if we break out once again above 59k, 60k range before late October, we're most likely going to see something like that, a parabolic move all the way up to some crazy prices. We're going to talk about those prices in another video and all that good stuff, right? So that's all I wanted to cover regarding BTC on the macro scale. We talk about the quarterly cycle, we talk about the monthly, we talk about the 50-day cycle, and we also talk about the we talk about the 3-week cycle, right? All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you like the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up, join the public Telegram group. You can also join the Discord group, link in the description and all that good stuff. All right, guys, thanks a lot.